Okay, it's 10 o'clock on Saturday night. The moon's out. How much this will come out? There's a very slight breeze. You can see the exhaust from the heaters are moving just a little bit. Happiness in Alaska is 50 below. Well, pretty much made 50 below. Well, hi everybody.
Hello, we're in Juneau.
Yep, made it to Juneau. It is a nice day here, I guess. It's not raining at the moment, and the sun is almost peeking through the clouds. So that's a good day in Juneau. So we're gonna be here for the day. We've been invited down for the State of the State address by the governor. So we're in Juneau for that, and also gonna make a stop at the
Library here at the State Library. I am the director in Nenana for libraries, so I'm going to go in and visit with the grant person here and talk to about grants for the library as well.
So see if we get some video of Juneau. I think it's the most remote capital in America. So show you guys around a little bit, then we're on a plane tomorrow morning to go back home.
Talk to y'all later.
Well, we sure appreciate everybody checking this video out. We know it's been a little while since we've posted a video. Between things slowing down on the farm and doing a little bit of traveling, we took a little break from posting videos. But as the days are starting to get warmer and longer, and our thoughts turn to this year at the farm, with the crops we're going to grow and the additional land that needs to be cleared. This particular video is some of the highlights of our trip to Juneau. We were invited as guests of the governor to attend the State of the State address, and it was an honor to participate in the state government process. This is just some highlights of the trip. Definitely didn't take near enough video. What you're seeing now, we're in the State Library building, which houses the State Library, offices, and also the museum. It was really quite impressive to go up this staircase and look at all the different birds on the tree. The folks working at the State Library were great to talk to, had lots of knowledge, and the kind of people that really care about the different communities across the state. And the museum is a wonderful museum, very well done. Highly encourage anybody that travels to Juneau to make sure they stop by and see the museum. Juneau definitely has a small town feel where everybody is friendly. But remember, the weather's always a factor, both flying into Juneau and flying out. Well, we're headed up the hill. Lots of stairs. Of course, the options in Juneau are ocean or mountain. So the town is placed between the two. So we had a chance to walk all the way around. We're headed up to the governor's mansion. Hard to believe that just a few days ago it was 50 below at home in Nenana, and here it is approaching 40 degrees in Juneau with rain and melting snow. And I guess we follow the signs. It says Governor's House. Get run over on this busy street. It's a pretty short walk up to the governor's house. Juneau had received 6 foot of snow just a week before, and with the rain and warm weather, it was almost gone. The governor's residency in Juneau is rather modest. First occupied in 1912, it sits on a small, modest lot overlooking the Capitol. I did not get near enough footage of it, and it is an absolutely stunning building full of history. We were extremely fortunate to be invited in for a tour by the governor and the first lady and their wonderful staff. And it is important to remember during the holidays, for one day, the mansion is opened up to all Alaskans to come and visit. And we highly recommend you try to make it at some point. Okay, after a great visit at the governor's house, we're headed over to the State of the State address, which the governor gives every year to the legislature. We were honored to be there. Here's a clip.
We can do better developing our vast lands and waters to feed Alaskans. Our lands and waters support more wild harvests of fish, game, and plants than any other state by far. Alaskans take great pride in filling their freezers and providing for their families and their communities through these harvests. It's a uniquely Alaskan way of life. It's a source of pride and tradition. And it's a way of life I'll always fight to protect for every Alaskan. But we can't rely solely on wild harvests to provide food security for all Alaskans. We once produced about half the food we consume in Alaska through local farming. But now we rely on imports for about 90% of what we buy. What happened was we basically took our eye off the ball over decades as globalization and just-in-time logistics were refined to the point where it became cheaper to ship a gallon of milk to Alaska rather than produce it here. Even before the pandemic, most Alaskans know what happens when a ship or a barge is late or doesn't make it at all. The store shelves get stripped down pretty quickly. These globalized systems we've relied upon work great until they don't. And Alaska is blessed with abundant and clean lands and waters, and we can develop these resources to become food independent once again. This will increase food security and reduce costs for all Alaskans. So how will we do this? Well, we talk with our Alaskan farmers with operations of all sizes who've been producing food for decades and those who are just getting started. Tarn Coffee is one of those farmers. His parents moved to Alaska from Texas because they saw opportunity, and his father found a great living in the oil industry working on the slope. That opportunity provided everything his family needed, including a small farm near Talkeetna. Tarn found an opportunity that matched his love for farming when the state held its first auction for ag land at the Nenana Tokachik project in 2022. He cleared his land and planted his first crops last spring, including the sweet corn he'd been growing for a dozen years in his backyard in Nenana. Tarn doesn't believe the skeptics and the pessimists who don't see a future for agriculture in Alaska, let alone that you can grow corn, sweet corn, here in Alaska. Instead, he's proving them wrong. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself on his Coffee Farm YouTube channel. That's Coffee Farm YouTube channel. Like his father before him, Tarn is following opportunities where they lead. He's pursuing them rather than opposing them. He's not just building a bigger backyard farm either. He plans to grow his operation to commercial scale, and that's what Alaska needs to truly increase food security for our great state. So I'm going to ask Tarn and his ear of corn if he would stand up and be recognized for the pioneering spirit of you and all your fellow farmers and ranchers here in Alaska, Tarn. Oh, and by the way, some have said you never could grow corn in Alaska, Tarn, but you've proved them wrong. So I want to thank you for your can-do attitude. To support our working farmers and encourage new ones like Tarn, we're building an environment of opportunity for them to succeed in. Over the past year, we provided $1 million in feed cost assistance to livestock owners impacted by weather-related shortfalls in 2022. We also paid the freight cost to import 1,000 tons of barley into Alaska to feed and sustain our livestock herds until last fall's harvest in Delta. This past November, the Division of Agriculture took another big step to support our farmers and ranchers by allocating $1 million to establish a feed grain reserve in Delta. This reserve will protect our livestock producers and allow for larger herds by increasing our in-state feed supply. It'll also provide an additional market for our grain farmers who want to grow their businesses. We're also in the process of expanding power lines in Delta and upgrading roads and bridges in Nenana to reduce the cost and improve access. We're also updating our cottage food regulations to expand opportunities for home-based food producers. We'll reduce risk with legislation we've just introduced to increase access to capital through the Agricultural Revolving Loan Fund. This will also provide premium support for crop insurance. In addition, this legislation will repeal institutional purchasing limits on Alaska-grown products for the next 5 years. This will provide a market for producers who want to scale up their operations. State dollars should stay in Alaska, and state dollars should be used to support Alaskan producers.
Well, we had half a day before we had to catch our flight home, and the First Lady, Rose Dunlevy, was gracious enough to show us around Juneau. Here we are checking out the scenery at the beautiful Mendenhall Glacier. What a beautiful place.
How important this is for guidance, not only in life,
the actual
but
other side of the lake
guidance.
is
Traditionally, it was used for when you walk around the ice to have it to guide you. But now, looking at how it is used as a guide for just going through life.
The next visit was to the Shrine of St. Teresa. It is a beautiful, small stone church built on top of a tree-covered hill on a point sticking out into the ocean. It was founded in 1932. The trees actually provided a lot of protection from the wind, and there was no limit to the amazing views. There are also other buildings on site, bathrooms, a very, very nice gift shop, housing for the caretakers, and I believe it is also used as a retreat. Always great to find these places hidden away in Alaska. The grounds and the building were extremely well cared for. Everything was neat and clean, as you would expect. There were some upgrades to the roof and it looked like the windows, but it always amazes me to see how well stone and concrete hold up to the elements, and all the hard work and care and devotion that went into building this building. And after almost 100 years, it's still here. All that hard work paid off. What a view.
It's beautiful.
What a view.
Yeah, I think in the birds. Yeah. I picked one up for my 4-year-old.
Yes. Yeah. We don't have that interior. It is pretty.
I know, but it's just pretty.
Everybody had such a great time. None of us knew each other before coming to Juneau. Who would have thought going to participate in the Alaska Governor's State of the State address would be such a great experience, meet such wonderful people, and make new friends. To the Governor and the First Lady of Alaska, thank you. Well, our flight was leaving Juneau at 2 o'clock, and it was supposed to start snowing at 2 o'clock. Everybody was happy that the plane was on time, and the weatherman was right. If you've never flown in and out of different cities in Southeast Alaska, let's just say it can be a little challenging sometimes. It was always good to have the flexibility of a day or two on each side of your travel, just in case it's delayed. Okay, well, while we're getting off the ground, you can find the governor's State of the State address on YouTube. Just look up State of Alaska, State of the State Address 2024, and most everybody you see in the videos is a guest of the governor and is mentioned in the State of the State address. Not only was the First Lady and Governor wonderful, his entire staff did everything they could to make us feel at home. The legislature welcomed into their chambers. In fact, everywhere we went in Juneau, everybody was friendly and welcoming. And that is such a wonderful thing when your state capital feels like your own hometown. Juneau may be semi-remote and hard to get to, but it is definitely worth the trip.
In case we pick up any unexpected turbulence. Right now showing ahead of schedule, going into Anchorage about 25 minutes by the time we get to the gate, so we should have you in about 4:05 local time. And going into gate C3 in Anchorage. It's just low overcast skies right now. Visibility still okay at 6 miles an hour, or 6 miles of visibility, sorry about that, in the light north wind. We'll give you an update just before we start our descent. Sit back, relax, enjoy the flight. Thank you.
What we're looking at here is some fresh snow in the mountains, and the ocean is the blue in between. I know this is pretty small and a little hard to see, but I wanted to put it up for reference. So we left out of Juneau, flying back kind of in a northwesterly direction to Anchorage. On the left side of the plane is ocean all the way to Hawaii, and I'm on the right side of the plane, where you can see the edge of the Pacific Ocean, then it's mountaintops as far as you can see. And these mountains can go up to 100 miles before you drop into a valley in Canada. And virtually the entire hour and 50-minute flight looks just like this. I don't know how many square miles of glacier that is, but it's a lot of ice and a lot of rock. That's one of the reasons Juneau is only accessible by plane or by boat. Sunday the 28th. It is warming up. We are a hair over 40 below. So again, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday the 28th of January. There are some clouds moving in. The birds are happy. Don't know, as you can see. Do not ask me how those little guys make it through this cold weather. You think you're tough stuff till you see that. Really pretty day. Looks like we're on the other side of the cold spell. It's all the birds. Looks like maybe 20 below or the teens over the next week. I don't think they're really forecasting any 50 below anymore. What do you think, Dusty? What's going on there, bub? Some of the corn behind me from last year. So it's going to warm up a bit. 20 below, maybe in the teens below for the next week. It's not going to be the end of our cold weather for the year, but the closer we get to spring, the harder and harder it is to have extreme cold temperatures. So this cool snap hasn't been too bad. We got through it good. Just slows things down a little. Well, this is not our typical video. There's no tractors, no farming, but we sure appreciate you taking the time to watch it and stick it out. Remember, spring's coming, and we'll get back to putting videos out on a regular basis. As always, thanks for watching. We'll hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.